So I promised you guys a new team, so here it is. We're rocking out with a Frostlass Houndoom theme team with the Dragonite, Clefable, Steelix, and Gallade. In this video, we are going to be really focusing on Clefable and Steelix. You know, how well of a defensive core are they? They actually are very, very well, and they can pick up some very surprise KOs. In this video, we are going up against our opponent. This is one battle, by the way. Yes, it's a very, very long battle. But the main idea of this team, I got asked by my wife. She basically was saying, hey, can you make a Frostlass team? And I was like, okay, but you're going to sit down with me, and we'll make this team basically around all your favorite Pokemon. So this is kind of like my wife's team competitively. You know, she wanted a Frostlass team. I put it together as competitive as possible. I helped her out with some of the cores and stuff, what would make a good team. And I was like, you know what, this is a good enough team to actually feature onto the channel. So I was like, heck yeah, we'll go with it. It does have some problems that we will be discussing probably later on this week. But overall, this is a pretty solid team, and I'm actually kind of happy with this. But let's go ahead and get this battle started. We are Choice Scarf Gallade. No, the only way that Infernape could have outsped us is if he's Choice Scarfed as well. So confirmed Infernape's Choice Scarf right from the get-go. We learned that this Gardevoir is Trace ability, and we hit it with a little bit of a Psycho Cut. It does decent damage. It's not bad actually for it to be resisted, you know. Right here is a pretty easy opportunity for me to actually go into my Steelix. Steelix doesn't necessarily want to take a Moonblast, but it is capable of taking it, and we're able to threaten the Gardevoir the next turn. Gardevoir goes for Moonblast, and it looks like it could be actually a 2-hit KO, but with the leftovers recovery, it kind of makes it to where it's a little iffy, and I guess our opponent really doesn't want to be taking a chance, so they actually do switch out to their Skarmory here, not wanting to take a Gyro Ball. So yeah, overall that's fantastic. I mean, because like I said, that could have been easily knocked out our Steelix if they went for it. It had to be a little bit of a row, but what if they got it? The momentum of this battle would have shifted so dramatically. So I'm kind of happy that they did switch. Basically at this point, I know I have to switch, right? Eventually, but I was trying to be a little greedy and trying to set up some Stealth Rocks. But no, our opponent does taunt us and stops the Stealth Rocks and I just don't have anything to hit the Skarmory at this point, so I am forced to switch. Our opponent could easily set up Stealth Rocks. They did show later on to the battle that they do have Whirlwind. So I don't know if they necessarily have an offensive attack. I actually don't know if they actually showed that or not in this battle. This is just showing you how bulky the Skarmory is, really. But yeah, easily Stealth Rocks for our opponent. Predicting a switch, actually. Knowing that the Skarmory is going to easily faint due to a Flamethrower, I was like, you know what? We can easily go for Dark Pulse if they want to bring in that Gardevoir at the 2-shot. If they want to bring basically anything, we're going to be hitting it super hard. We are Choice Specs Houndoom. And I seen the Gardevoir come in. Dark Pulse comes on out. And we're able to take, like I said, it's a 2-shot. I was hoping for that 1-hit KO right there. But unfortunately, because really and truthfully, I don't know Gardevoir's speed tiering, so I had to take a little bit of a gamble here. But I do end up staying in with my Houndoom and going for a Dark Pulse, just because I want nothing else to take this Moonblast. It could have been potentially specs on how much it did to Steelix, so I just did not want nothing to take a potential specs Moonblast. So I was super glad we were able to pick up the KO with Houndoom. Infernape comes on out, and really don't have the greatest switch-ins for this because he can go for close combat, and I was thinking, you know what? Clefable will resist it. Let's go with the resistive right now. Clefable is not necessarily our physical wall. That's Steelix. But Steelix does not want to take 2 close combats, 1 close combat. And like I said, this is a choice Scarf Infernape. So if he's locked himself into close combat, that means most likely he's forced to switch at this point. Because he don't want to let his Infernape take a Moonblast to the face, basically. So, because then he'd be at -2, that would hurt. This does give me an opportunity to set up some Stealth Rocks. So, why not, you know? Because in this situation, I know you're going to be switching. He goes into the Milotic. And this is a nice little Stealth Rocks, because, I mean, it forces our opponent to defog. I don't think they have a Rapid Spin, I believe. So yeah, I actually do think the 4th move on that Skarmory is defog. So yeah, that could be it. So I don't think it has any attacking moves. I did not pick that up till just now, but we'll keep that in mind for later. They do miss a Hypnosis, and I do land a Paralyze, a Thunder Wave, onto that Milotic, just to make sure we keep the speed tiering that we know we're always going to be able to outspeed that Milotic now. Right here, it's easy for me to go ahead and set up a Wish, and then I can go into my Gallade and get him back to full health, because that Infernape did hit us relatively hard with a U-turn. I kind of want to race that scenario ever happened, so I'm okay with letting Clefable go asleep here, as long as our opponent plays by Sleep Claws and don't try and go for another Hypnosis. We're in a good spot. Yeah, I mean, this is easy to go into Gallade anyway, because Gallade actually has relatively decent special defense when you're not even invested into it. So, yeah, I mean, it's actually a pretty bulky Pokemon if you did invest into its special defense. I'm not exactly for sure. I believe it's roughly around 100 special defense base. Roughly, don't quote me on that, because I'm not looking right now on my phone to see if what's Gallade's special defense, but I know it's relatively high. And you know what? We're in a good spot now. Gallade's at full health. That necessarily I don't want to stay in on the Skarmory, so I'm gonna go actually switch out into my Houndoom. Unfortunately for me, this is where he decides to go for the Whirlwind to phase my Houndoom out. And it brings back my Gallade, and it gets me pretty much back in the same scenario. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, no, that's later in the battle. Right now, he went for that defog. Totally forgot he did this. I guess that just confirms that the Skarmory is going to be staying around. So who is he going to be switching out into to take this potential Flamethrower? He has a Milotic. Unfortunately, Milotic is going to be able to come in, and yeah, I could have kind of read it that Milotic was going to try and come in and go for a Dark Pulse here, and you know, I could have went for the Dark Pulse plus the paralyzation chance of trying to flinch this thing to death, but I didn't go that route. I just wanted to go for the Flamethrower, just kind of thinking, you know what, he might predict me over predicting, so we'll go for the safe play. Yeah, and it worked out it worked out decently, but now I'm in that tricky spot. Like I said, I don't really have the greatest things to switch in. Like, I could go back into Gallade, but then it seems like we're repeating the same thing over and over again, and that would be a very boring battle, and I don't want to repeat that, so I'm going to go into Frostlass. Practically knowing that I should be able to take 2 Scalds, but unfortunately I get burned. And that messes up my calc so hard, because I want to go for Destiny Bond, but I cannot go for it now. And that would have been such a nice little tech to use in this scenario to get rid of this Milotic. This team is basically based around this Frostlass, and we're not going to be able to fully utilize this Frostlass in this game, unfortunately, because the idea was to let Milotic KO us with 2 Scalds, but we set up a Destiny Bond and we knock it out. I guess it would have it had to have been 3 Scalds, but either way, just be something about knocking out that melodic with a Destiny Bond would have been fantastic. I could go into my Houndoom and try that same tactic, but Houndoom is very valuable for me in this game because it seems like that Skarmory, eventually we should be able to get a really good hit off of our Houndoom against that Skarmory. So I don't necessarily want to have Houndoom go down just yet. Melodic does opt to switch out on the Gallade switch in, and we go close combat just because I know it would have been good damage onto the Melodic, and you know what, it did decent damage to the Skarmory. Alright, so this is the scenario I was just telling you guys about not too long ago, where I'm going to switch out into my Houndoom now, I believe. No, I'm going to my Steelix. Oh my goodness. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm telling you guys the wrong part of the story. Okay, so we go into Steelix. He goes, sets up his Stealth Rocks again. And I know, in this situation, his Skarmory cannot beat my Steelix one-on-one. He can taunt me. Sure, taunt me. I'm just going to go for Gyro Ball. I know it's not going to be doing that much damage, but go for it. First, I went for Stealth Rocks. Obviously, you know he's going to be taunting, and that's fine. Go ahead and taunt. I know that your Skarmory has nothing to hit my Steelix. Like, you could go for Whirlwind. You could, and if you do, I was almost expecting it, you know, like you Whirlwind me out. Send me something that's actually pretty well decent in this battle, like a Houndoom. Scare your Skarmory, I get free damage on something, you know? So yeah, that's what I was playing for, the Whirlwind. But he does opt to switch to the Cloyster, of all things, right? And Cloyster actually almost scared me in this battle, but since I have the Steelix, I'm in actually a relatively good spot, because Steelix's defense is like base 200 for the ones that don't know, and this thing can take practically any non-super effective physical attack. It takes it really well. Like, it's super crazy. Like right here, this Cloyster's going to be setting up on us, right? You know what, that's fine. I can't necessarily go for Roar in this scenario because we are taunted, unfortunately. But you know what, that's fine. We got Earthquake. We do relatively really good damage, you know. Steelix isn't known to be that big offensive guy, but if you lower your defense, you know, all of a sudden Steelix is a pretty offensive threat, you know. And right here, I was like, yeah, we'll opt for going for the Gyro Ball in case you want to switch and you go back into that Skarmory. At least we get some damage off. But no, he goes for the Icicle Spear. He hits 5 times, obviously because of his ability. But look how much Steelix is eating it up. Like, Steelix just don't care. Look at that, Steelix. He just don't care. That didn't do no damage whatsoever to our boy Steelix, you know, and he's able to knock out that Cloyster like it was nothing. So Cloyster came in trying to get the Steelix KO, and unfortunately for Cloyster, he failed. He couldn't get the KO. Alright, so Infernape comes in here, and I practically was like, okay, Steelix, you practically done your job. I don't really have a good switch in for a close combat since Frostlass went down. So I'm going to have to let you go down, buddy. If you want to do some type of weird setup or anything, we'll try and set up some Stealth Rocks. But you know what, Steelix, you did your part. So we let Steelix go down. Steelix, like I say, he did his part. Now we know that Infernape's locked into close combat. I do have Dragonite, I do have a Clefable, but I opt to go to Gallade. We're getting to that point where I know that the scenario very well. The Whirlwind Skarmory scenario is about to happen, guys. I promise you. It did happen. It did happen. Like right here, Skarmory comes back in. He takes a Psycho Cut like a crazy bird, defensive crazy bird would, you know, obviously. It helps that he has some armor, I guess, you know, but besides that point, he's starting to get ready to go for that big whirlwind as I go for a switch to Houndoom. I feel like I've told this story twice already. I have, actually. The Skarmory was a big pain for me in this battle. But we do eventually get the advantage point because of the whirlwind. And I feel like he's just going to start spamming this whirlwind. He actually sends back out my Gallade. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. We'll go ahead, go for that big knockoff, right? He's going to whirlwind me out. Whatever you bring out, I'm going to be able to threaten a KO on your Skarmory, or I should be able to at least do some damage, right? Do keep in mind that our Clefable is asleep right now, and you believe me or not, of course they whirlwind into the Clefable of all Pokemon that I have that's asleep. And I was like, if it was any other Pokemon, I would have been in a great spot to get rid of the Skarmory. I was really hoping for a Houndoom. Dragonite would have been a little sus. I wouldn't have known what I would have done in that situation. But you know what? We got Clefable. Clefable came out. I was like, okay, this ain't the end of the world. You know, we can waste some sweet sleep turns. We should be alright. Somehow Clefable is still able to eat some leftovers in its sleep. I don't know how. When I'm asleep, I have a hard time eating, but you know, that's just me, I guess. This Skarmory does opt to switch into Garchomp, actually. And we actually woke up on when we selected Moonblast. So we're able to do over half to this Garchomp, which is crazy. I feel like our opponent is slowly losing Pokemon. Like, we're slowly gaining the advantage. You know, things are coming full circle for us right now as they're forced to switch their Garchomp out into the Infernape. And Infernape does not like this Moonblast either, folks. Like, that's half on Infernape. And right here, I believe the 3-minute timer is about to pull up. We're almost at that point where the game is going to come due to timer. And at this point, you have to examine the situation. You got to figure out who's in the lead. And honestly, we're in a great... Clefable's putting in the big work. We're able to put up a wish, and we can kind of just stall. He doesn't have too many things that's too threatening to our Clefable. He's trying to find the matchup favorabilities for him to win, and it's just it's really going to be very difficult for our opponent to find in this late of a battle, because the momentum is definitely on our side. Clefable waking up and was a key aspect of us being able to take this board control at this stage of the game. Wish, unfortunately for our opponent, he does get paralyzed. If he was going for Scald, I was not expecting it to do that much damage anyway, so I'm not too sorry, I guess. But because we're just going to be able to recover it all back with a wish, you know. But yeah, Moonblast does come out. Thank goodness we do not actually drop its special attack. I do believe this is a competitive Milotic, but it could be Marvel skill. It could be, and that's why it's taking these hits relatively well, but I don't know. But he goes into Skarmory. I was like, okay, I'll get some hits off on the Skarmory too. Like, he's not really threatening me at all. I was like, if you want to Whirlwind, I have not seen a Steel attack yet on you. I'm at full health. I have no reason not to go for the offensive Moonblast again. He goes for the taunt. I was like, bro, that's not the right play at all. That's definitely not the play that you need to be going. You got to go on the offensive, especially on the 3-minute timer part of the battle. You know, if you're losing, like our opponent is right here, you definitely have to go on a more offensive route. He can't remove my Clefable. Clefable is too much of a problem, I guess, for him. And Clefable slowly whittling down his team. Right here, he was going to let the timer tick for a little bit, and I don't necessarily agree with that play. I think he might have thought that he was going to be okay. Like, oh, I'm in the lead or something. But no, bro. No, bro. You're definitely not in the lead. And he actually whirlwinds. Okay, so maybe he was thinking or something. But, you know, in this situation, especially when you're in the lead, hold the pressure onto your opponent. Right here, we had no reason to go for flamethrower. If he wants to switch into Garchomp, he's going to feint due to that Dark Pulse. And exactly what he does. He goes into a Garchomp. If he wanted to go in that Milotic, we conditioned that win too against that Milotic. So we're in a good spot. That's practically game though. Timer, we won due to timer, but we were in a great board position. So I do think the game would have been ended relatively soon after the timer went out, so I'm not too salty about that. Anyway guys, if you guys did enjoy today's video, like, comment, and if you are new, subscribe. This is Wi-Fi Merriman signing out. Peace.